Heartbeat Alaska on Radio is brought to you by Alaska Family Housing Services, featuring a new prenatal home. Alaska Family Housing Services provides the comforts of home while you're in the city for education or health care. For more information, call 1-888-453-4833.
It's Heartbeat Alaska. It's Heartbeat Alaska. You can hear it from Sitka to Barrow. Gather around for Jeannie's show. It's the Aleut, the Indian, and the Eskimo. It's the Aleut, the Indian, and the Eskimo.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Heartbeat Alaska Native News and Native Information. I'm Jeannie Green. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'd like to introduce you today to a new employee on Heartbeat Alaska. He's our correspondent, Tony Milford, and today he brings us a story from the Navajo Nation. The war in Iraq has touched many lives, Native and non-Native, and today we visit the Navajo Nation as they honor their own.
The risks and reactions faced by U.S. Marines.
In a war, things happen.
No doubt they suffered some serious emotional trauma.
We wait for the door to open to see these prisoners of war.
Fire came from all sides, 360 degrees.
U.S. troops facing significant combat ahead.
This is a war.
This terrible time of mourning and loss.
American bombs dropping very close by.
With the war in Iraq taking place, the world has turned its attentions towards the conflict in the East. As Americans fight to liberate a country, thousands of families wait patiently by the television, praying that their sons and daughters come home safely.
7 former American POWs have arrived in friendlier territory.
For the Dene people of the Navajo Nation, prayers go out for their own, their sons and daughters who have been called to leave the safety of their homeland to fight for the safety of their people. As the war escalates, those who oppose the war gather in the streets to demonstrate their opposition. But in Window Rock, Arizona, a different kind of demonstration is taking place. A demonstration of support and a day of prayers for our troops in Iraq. Heartbeat Alaska correspondent Tony Milford of Navajo Nation Television takes us to Window Rock, Arizona for this monumental event.
Hello and welcome to Heartbeat Alaska. This is Tony Milford from the Navajo Nation. Just giving you an update as to what's taking place today, April 6, 2003. Today, behind us is a congregation, a march that's going to be taking place this morning, and as well a day of prayer for our men and women who are currently serving overseas in the effort to liberate Iraq. We have men and women who are serving in all branches of the military, and as you can see behind me, there is a congregation of maybe 75 to 100 people in support of this effort, and as we take it, there will be many more joining us today.
Forward, march!
It began early Sunday morning, April 6, with a prayer circle at the Navajo Nation Museum, and ended late that afternoon at the Window Rock Veterans Memorial Park. From the prayer circle, veterans and supporters gathered in the streets where they marched to the park to pray for their troops and to hear words of inspiration from the leaders of the Navajo Nation.
Alright, huh! Alright, huh!
Nahas Kaidawali, Doted Nahatan Lego Corder, Bazalat Kato Kompa, Taladin Sat, Anabe Sat, at the Haslago, Port Ego, in the Dachet on that kid lady called Ego Silgason, Lady Hasti, David Ego, Adet Katas Kago, then the Bill Soda, even after the day of Ghana, this not a day, not day of Port Ego. Hey,
as people prayed for their friends and family serving in Iraq. Prayers for the family of Lori Ann Piestewa from the Hopi Nation were prayed as well. Lori Ann Piestewa was the first female U.S. soldier to be killed in the war on Iraq, a war that is now closer to home than ever for the Dene people. There was not one person here who wasn't touched by the words of those who spoke today, honoring the soldiers who have gone into battle in the name of peace. Parents and relatives of U.S. soldiers in Iraq had messages for their kin, messages that all shared a common theme of hope.
I'm Angela Joe from Kayenta, Arizona, and the picture I'm holding is my son, who is now in Baghdad in the middle of the fighting. He's Lance Corporal Emerson D. Joe. I am very sad about Lori Piestewa from Tuba City, because we were all supporting the family in our prayers and in our thoughts. And when we found out about her yesterday, it was as if we were also the parents of her. I would urge all our Navajo people, all our Indian families across the country, and everybody across the nation to pray for our children, because every one of them, it doesn't matter what culture they're from or what tribe they're from, we are all in this together.
His name's Miguel Cortes.
Corporal in the Marine Corps.
And do you have a message to the people and as well as your son?
I just would like to tell the mom, all the mom, to be strong, because it's really hard. But right now, you know, my heart goes out to all the moms out there. I know I understand what they're going through, but right now, we all have to, you know, pray together. They'll be home soon.
And any messages from you, sir?
I just want to tell the troops to go over there and get your job done and come back home, because we're all waiting for you.
My heart goes out to the families, and you're still in my prayers. I appreciate all these veterans supporting our troops here. So good luck to you guys, and be happy.
Have some young ladies here, and what they have are support posters. This U.S. Army patriot, son, brother, father, husband, Private First Class Fritz Clinton. And of course, can I get your names?
Hi, my name is Trudy. I'm Fritz's sister. Fritz here is also serving with his sister in Kuwait, Roselyn Clinton, private. We have Fritz and Roselyn's brother, Jonas. He's serving on the USS Wyoming. And Roselyn and Fritz are overseas right now, and we just wanted to show our support and say that our prayers and our thoughts are with you. We're looking forward to seeing you at home. We love you, we miss you, but we know that you are doing a good job. We are here for you. Thank you so much. We're proud of you.
And do you have some words?
My name is Cheyenne Arviso, and this is my uncle. And that's all I have to say.
If you could say something to your uncle right now, what would you say?
I would say that if I would pray for him to come back and bring him home safe. And that's pretty much all.
Okay, and you?
My brothers and sisters, I just want to say that we're praying for you, and you will come home.
As the ancient songs echoed off the wind-carved rocks of the Arizona desert, prayers of peace ascended toward the heavens. Prayers for protection of our soldiers, and prayers for their safe return. In Window Rock, Arizona, I'm Tony Milford, NNTV5, reporting for Heartbeat, Alaska.
Mom, Dad, someone's gonna try and get me to take drugs.
Want to do something about it?
You're gonna have to make me tell you where I am and who I'm with every day.
Don't like the sound of that?
Tough.
You gotta be the grown-up.
Kids with involved parents are less likely to try drugs. So ask them who, what, where, when. Questions. They're the anti-drug. Call 1-800-788-2800 for more information. Sponsored by the ONDCP and the Partnership for a Drug-Free America.
On behalf of the members of the Navajo Nation Council and the Navajo Nation, I hereby present to the family of Private First Class Lori Piestewa display of appreciation for the services provided to the United States of America and the Navajo Nation.
On April 21, 2003, Lori Piestewa was honored by the Navajo Nation at a ceremony where her parents were given a plaque and the Navajo Nation flag in her memory. For the past 2 weeks, the Piestewa family had support from their community as well as from people across the country. And although the memories of the day they learned about their daughter's death will stay with them a long time, it's the support and prayers from their friends and country and the forever memories of Lori that will help comfort them in their time of need.
On the night we were informed of our daughter missing in action, 2 gentlemen came from military. They were dressed in full uniform, knocked on the door. We opened the door, and they were standing there, so our world fell out from under our feet. The gentleman informed us that our daughter was missing in action. We asked questions if she was alone, if she was with somebody. They could only tell us that she was missing in action, nothing else.
We were very alone at the first, and then with all the support that we had throughout the reservation, throughout the countryside, with all the calls coming in, it made us very strong. It made us so strong that a lot of people couldn't believe that we were in pain. And that because of them, we thank them. We thank you people. We thank everybody out there that has given us the support and helped us along with this pain. And we're thankful because now that she has met everybody's hearts out there, we thank her for being there for them. And because of her, this world has come a lot closer. Everybody's been so close to each other lately, and that I'm sure this is what her plan was when she left us.
With the passing of Lori Piestewa, the Navajo Nations have added yet another name to their list of heroes. The Navajo Nation has played a very special part in the pages of America's history. For it was the Code Talkers of the Navajo Nation that were the voices of World War II, and it was the Navajo language that made communications possible for the United States Marines. From 1942 to 1945, the Navajo Code Talkers were the communications link for the U.S. Marines, transmitting coded messages by phone and radio in their native language, a code that the Japanese never broke.
It was only a spoken language. It's not a written language, not a reading language. It was only spoken and understood.
Since the Navajo language, or Dene language, is an unwritten language of extreme complexity with different dialects, making it unintelligible to anyone without extensive exposure and training, it proved to be a language that was the foundation for an undecipherable code.
The code was already written by the first 29. They had 29 young men join the Marines, and they are the ones that devised the code. They devised the code by using animal names and based on the English alphabet, the 26 alphabets. They divided those coded words according to what animals used air, like they live in the sky, and those animals that live on the land. walk on the land and animals that live in the water or in the water, on the water. See, that way they divided into 3 different groups, and all those are assigned to each alphabet. And that's how they devised it.
But the first attempt at creating an undecipherable code with only 26 Dene words proved to be premature.
After we were taught, we would go outside and set up the radios and talk to each other. Practice with that coded words. At first, the first 29 only devised 26 words. And that 26 words, we found out. The kids that are in the Marine Corps, all the Anglo kids in the Marine Corps, they're radio men. They help us learn how to operate radio. While we're learning, they listen to us sending these coded words. They memorize all 26 of them. And then we said, hey, if they can memorize that in such a short time, a Japanese will memorize it too. So we added another group of 26 words and another one, 26 words. And then when we memorized all those, we jump around on those different alphabets, and the kids got confused. And then we said, now, this is pretty safe.
Dene Indian Samuel Tso was one of the Navajo Code Talkers of World War II. At the age of 19, Samuel lied to get into the military, which only accepted men 21 years of age and older.
I couldn't find a job. I looked all over the place. Finally, I went to a railroad station. I asked for a job there. And the guy that's sitting behind the desk says, sorry, we only employ 21-year-olds. So I just turned around and started walking out. Before I walked out the door, the guy says, perhaps you come back this afternoon, we may have a job for you. So right there, that gave me hope that I may have a job. So I hung around that station until in the afternoon. At 1 o'clock sharp, I walked through the door and the guy looked up and says, did you say you're 21 years old? Boy, that really surprised me and stunned me. Without thinking, I said, yeah, I'm 21 years old. Says, you'll have a job with us, sir. You wait around here this afternoon. So I was 19 years old in the morning. In the afternoon, I was 21. That's how come a guy sits at the post office with a tall hat, stripes and stars on his shoe, and says, I want you. That's how I got drafted. And I told him I was 21 years old.
It wasn't long after that event that Samuel would find himself dodging bullets and crossfire in the North and South Pacific Islands, eventually finding himself in a foxhole on Iwo Jima. In fact, Samuel would be part of a monumental moment that would go down in the pages of history forever.
I took part on, mostly on Iwo Jima, where the famous flag was raised. When it was raised, I intercepted the coded message. I was listening to the radio, and all of a sudden they came out and said, I missed the first part, but the last part, I heard it and start writing. I had a pad on my strap on my leg to write on, and then I start writing on it, and it says, that means literal English interpretation is, sheep's eye is cured. But in my mind, that's not what it meant. So I wrote down, Mount Suribachi is secured. And that's what it meant. As soon as I finished writing it, the Marines were in the foxhole and asked me, "What's up, Chief?" So I just pointed up to the flag. That was the one that was raised in the morning. And they raised another one 3 hours later, a bigger one so that everybody could see it. But the one that the message came in was the one in the morning there. And that was a message that came, and boy, you should have seen the Marines when they saw that. They just got out of the foxhole, they just started hollering and dancing. They just disregard the bullets come flying in there. And I caught that one there. And that's why I signed some of those pictures there. Thank you.
Signing pictures and shaking hands is a common occurrence for Samuel these days. In fact, Mr. Tso travels the world sharing his experiences with others. Now recognized as heroes for their outstanding contributions to our nation, the Navajo Code Talkers were long unrecognized because of the classified nature of their code language. It wasn't until 1992 that the Code Talkers were honored at the Pentagon in Washington, D.C. For Samuel, it has been an experience that he is proud to have been part of and would gladly do it all again for reasons I think we can all understand.
It is justified because 1 million people and myself are alive. And that is, to me, worth fighting for this country and the future young children of ours. We want them to have the best. So like I said in the news interview in the documentary film, if there's another war come, I'll be waiting and ready for it.
Thank you everyone for joining us. And before we sign off today, I'd like to send a special greeting to Mr. and Mrs. Piestewa and the rest of the family. We here in Alaska have been praying for you, and we've been watching as your people have been honoring your daughter. We understand loss, and we are with you. We are thinking about you, and we will continue to pray for you. From all of us here at Heartbeat Alaska, God bless you, and we'll see you again next week.
Heartbeat Alaska on Radio is brought to you by Alaska Family Housing Services, featuring a new prenatal home. Alaska Family Housing Services provides the comforts of home while you're in the city for education or health care. For more information, call 1-888-453-4833.
For Jeannie's show, it's the